I'm digging kind of deep into my archives, pulling out some poems that I actually wrote in high school. Of course, they've been edited and revised for the performance here today, but these two poems are about civil rights leaders, Bayard Rustin and Malcolm X, kind of looked over or misunderstood historical people. And they both wore glasses, so I'm kind of going to wear some fake glasses, try and get into character here. And with Bayard Rustin, he was a homosexual man during the Civil Rights era, and he also admitted that he was a communist, both things that were really frowned upon in the U.S. at the time. And he actually went to jail just for being gay, which I don't know how that happened. I was trying to look it up and research it, but it was pretty ridiculous, and gladly, times have changed. There isn't that much. I mean, there's still bad stuff, hatred, discrimination, but granted, it's a little better. Strides are being made in the LGBTQ community. But I really like Bayard Rustin, and I thought he was a great person. He doesn't get a lot of recognition in history, and I remember watching a movie in high school where he was one of the characters, and every time they showed him, he was like, he was kind of off to the sides, hiding, and smoking like a chimney. So I took that image and really came up with this poem, Bayard Rustin. And then there's two quotes from him that I thought were great. He said, "To be afraid is to behave as if the truth were not true." And then he also said, "Take power away from those who misuse it, at which point they become human too." So here's the poem, Bayard Rustin, and both of these poems rhyme all the way through. So I'm sure my teacher Kelly wouldn't be a big fan of it, but I think it works well for a performance. "A communist I am, this oath I swear. I'll be true to myself, despite those who stare. My color, my character, my thoughts you see is bad. What do you think it was like growing up with no dad? There's prejudice against me when I claim that I share not sex with a woman, but a mutual care. It is revolting for a man to say he is gay, but nothing you can say will darken my day. As I speak of my differences, I hope you all choke, and I'll blow you a cloud of cigarette smoke. These stereotypes and fears still make me frown. It's all discrimination that's holding our nation down. I merely wish for everyone to be treated equally, but differences arise and people flee. Without acceptance, it can be hard to sleep away the nights. That's why I dedicated myself to supporting civil rights. Even if you're angry, nonviolence is key. Let your emotions out another way if you want to be free. I live with feeling and with smoke instead of cry, so think of me and my message when you see the clouds float by." And then the next piece is about Malcolm X, and Malcolm often gets a bad rap in history, like as being some extreme violence person, and he really wasn't all that different from MLK, and Martin Luther King Jr.'s message has kind of been distorted in history, that he was just the I have a dream speech, and he was just about equality, and he's definitely about all those things, but he recognized that we needed drastic change, and it wasn't just going to happen. There's a lot of class issues that just get swept under the rug, and a lot of the things that Malcolm and MLK were saying at the time are really still now very, very much real. And I remember in my history textbook, there's a picture of Malcolm X, and he's just like pointing angrily. So that is the main image that I had in mind when I wrote this piece. And there are a bunch of Malcolm X quotes that I really like. He said, "If you have no critics, you'll likely have no success." And he was really recognized the power of the media and was kind of skeptical of it. And he said, "The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and the guilty innocent. And that's power, because they control the minds of the masses." And this even echoes a lot of what I learned in all my organizational communication classes. And Malcolm X also said, "If you're not careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing." And that's textbook hegemony. It's kind of interesting to see that all my studies have kind of come full circle, and I'm really excited to perform this Malcolm X piece now. And then the other thing I just wanted to say about Malcolm X was he really did, I wouldn't say he got softer, but where he originally in his life had said he wanted segregation, and he gets a rap for just hating white people. Later in his life, that wasn't true. He was with the Nation of Islam for a while, and then when he broke from them, he spent the rest of his life kind of running from them until they assassinated him. So that's just some more historical context to help this piece make sense. So here's Malcolm X. For the most part, this is all over the place. So it starts here. Malcolm X. I thought fighting and splitting was the necessary plan, and spent most of my life hating the power-hoarding white man. No longer would I be pushed around. I'd see anyone abusive early to the ground. For the most part, me and the Nation of Islam would agree, until I left and they assassinated me. I'm laying in the grave with a scowl on my face to see how this nation's still a disgrace. There's still segregation, hate, no equality. Just open your eyes and you will see how people ignore emotions and go on with life and wonder why their hatred makes them pick up a knife. We've got troops overseas, but the war is here, and someone's breaking point is getting too near. History warped the message of MLK, all about race, writing it their way. Today's greed and selfishness are far too much. It's too uncommon for people to see or give a loving touch. I converted my anger, but more change is due. So make a difference when my picture point